Hi, my name is Carolyn Jones, and I am a member of Team 14. My other team members include Sherry Winters, Hunter Arney, and Morgan Shute. Our team's assignment was to evaluate Team 15 using the Bales interaction process analysis. Sherry calculated all of the data, evaluated 4 people, and helped in the PowerPoint. Morgan evaluated 1 person, and I evaluated 1 person and helped put together this PowerPoint. Team 15 has 6 members and participated a total of 366 times over Slack. Hannah participated 50 times, Sydney participated 61 times, Ahmed participated 121 times, Lee participated 48 times, Jake participated 49 times, and Dylan participated 37 times. For this assignment, Sherry evaluated Sydney, Ahmed, Lee, and Jake. Morgan evaluated Hannah, and I evaluated Dylan.
So moving on to the percentage of total observed team participation. They seemed friendly for around 20% of the time, which was above the norm. Dramatizes about 3% of the time, which is actually below the norm. They agreed around 7.7% of the time, which was also below the norm. They gave suggestions around 2.7% of the time, which was also below the norm. They gave opinions around 3% of the time, which was, again, also below the norm. And then they gave information about 36.9% of the time, which was above the norm. And moving on, they asked for information around 13.1% of the time, which was above the norm. They asked for opinions around 2.2% of the time, which was within the norm. They asked for suggestions around 1.1% of the time, which was again within the norm. They disagreed around 0.8%. So they rarely disagreed, which was also, again, below the norm. Shows tensions around 2.5%, which was again below the norm. And they seemed unfriendly around 0% of the time, so that's good. And that was also, again, below the norm. So moving on to the interpretation of total team participation. Our team saw that they were very friendly, and they also gave and asked for information, and it was very easily received. Above norms and seems friendly, gives information, and asks for information categories. Hamid stated that we have an APA team assignment due next Tuesday evening. I have a very busy day on Monday, but there are some times I can meet. I can meet Monday a.m. and after 4:30 p.m. And Hannah replied, I didn't know it was a team assignment, so I already did it. And Hannah also stated that, so I think everyone has done a listicle now. Do you guys want to just go in the same order for the next ones? And Hamid replied with, can't do it this week. If everyone agrees, I can do it next week. And Lee stated, I can do it this week or next week. So this team was very compliant with one another, and they even stated what times they can meet and stuff, which is very important when carrying out a project. So moving on to the second interpretation of the total team participation. The team rarely gave or asked for opinions, and they hardly disagree, so that's good. They didn't disagree a lot. They were below the norms in most categories, especially when asking and giving opinions, and they didn't really have disagreements, which again is also important. Dylan stated, for example, does anyone know when this is due or what it is? And Hamid replied with, I don't think it is an assignment, where Sydney said it was worth 5 points, it was due before the first paper, and Hamid replied with, I don't see it as an assignment on the Blackboard gradebook, where Sydney replied with, someone from his class told me it was an assignment. So the communication was kind of iffy on some topics, but again, they weren't really disagreeing, so it made the process a lot more easier.
Next, we'll talk about team percentages by participation by team members. Sydney participated 16.7%, Ahmed 33.1%, Lee 13.1, Dylan 10.1, Jake 13.4, and Hannah 13.6. And that's a total of 100% participation. The first interpretation of team participation for Team 14 by team members will be from Ahmed and Cindy because they participated the most. The team data shows Ahmed was the member that participated the most in the team conversations at 33.1%. He was the first to participate, giving his test results for the Kincaid test and telling his team members about himself. Cindy was second with 16.7% participation. Upon counting the number of instances in Slack, Ahmed had 121 comments and Sydney had 61 of the team's total 366 comments. Second interpretation of Team 15's participation by team members will center on Lee, Hannah, and Jake, which averaged the same percentages, and Dylan participated the least. Lee and Jake became part of the team mid-semester, so that could be why their percentages were quite low. It leads us to believe that maybe Lee and Jake might have participated more and had higher percentages had they been part of the team full semester. Hannah and Dylan were part of the team full semester, and their percentages were still low, but not much lower than Cindy's. Posted on 10/14/17 by Dr. Gilstrap, going forward you have 2 new team members, Lee Musgrave and Jake Swihart. The rest of the team dropped the course, so you now have extra hands on deck. And at that point, Lee and Jake immediately started participating in the conversations. Suggestions on how to improve future team interactions would be teams should participate equally. It looked to me like Ahmed was participating the most and giving the most information, and everybody else would kind of feed off of his initial posts, or somebody would post about an issue with an assignment, and Ahmed was right there to jump in with it. So I think each team member should participate equally. Offer opinions on how team assignments should be completed. When reviewing their Slack sites, it looked like, when they did their listicles, one person would do each week, and there was no interaction as to, the topic or what slides should be put in that one, or pictures, or what, or, comments. So they needed to be more collaborative on their assignments. Experience and resolve conflict. We didn't see any kind of conflict whatsoever in any of their interactions, and most teams usually have some sort of conflict and should learn how to resolve it. We're not talking, major arguments. We're just talking disagreements. And work collaboratively on assignments. Again, going back to offering opinions. Give your opinion on how something should be done, and work collaboratively on it, because somebody may see your opinion and decide, well, yeah, that's maybe how we should do it. So those are our suggestions for future interactions. Finally, we'll discuss the lessons we learned while working on this assignment as a team. First, you need to have more than one leader. It's fine, to have one person take charge and get things done, but it gets old after a while, and for the one person that's doing all the work, they can become resentful of the rest of the team, because they're just following along with what they think needs to be done and letting the other person handle it. So people need to step up and be leaders. Equal participation is vital to a successful team. Again, yes, everybody needs to participate. 1 or 2 people not joining in and just taking the success as they shouldn't is not a good standard of practice. So everybody needs to have a voice and participate in assignments. And every team has conflict. How conflict is resolved shows how productive a team can work. Yes, everybody has conflict, and not, every idea is not always a good idea, but you still need to give your opinions and your ideas, because your idea may be better than what the rest of the team says. But if you don't voice that and give them your reasons why you're conflicted with what they want to do, then nobody's going to really take you seriously, and your idea may be the best way to handle the problems at hand. So every team needs to learn how to handle conflict. So that was our virtual team evaluation using Bell's interaction process analysis. Myself, Carolyn, Hunter, and Morgan worked very hard together to present this production, and we learned a lot. Thank you.